Now, what you're about ready to hear is going to blow your mind. You might even laugh about it. You might say this is totally ridiculous and it's not possible. Really, I strongly suggest you listen to every single thing that I state to you in this video, and I strongly suggest you look in the description of this YouTube video, because what is in the description of this YouTube video is more of a mind blower than this. Now, before I play you this audio file, I want you to listen to what I state. And if you're smart, if you're mature, let me just backtrack for a second. Okay? Just hear me out. If you had the inclination to want to investigate what I say, you have to have a mature posture in order for you to be able to maturely, with an investigative mindset, pick apart and research the descriptions that I described to you. Now, this video is being made for individuals who are mature and who really want to know the truth, not sit back in their chair. Hang on. Sorry about the noise. The reason why I'm making the kind of statements that I'm making right now is because I am aware that individuals who do not even have a clue about this kind of stuff will think to themselves, no way this can be going on, no way at all. As a result, they won't even take one step, not even one step, to look to see that what I'm telling you is the absolute truth. And if you knew who I was, trust me, you would believe every word I say without even telling you. Okay? Descriptions of things that you can go to research so you can discover that what I am telling you is the truth. And here are some of those descriptions right now. Okay? Go to Google and type in surveillanceissues.com. Look under the Hearing Voices feature especially. Then go to YouTube and Google and type in UnitedTargetedIndividualsEurope.com. Pay close attention to the TI symptoms feature. Okay? Go to Google. Type in Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. Look at the very bottom of that homepage. There's 3 PDF links. Print them out. Go to Google and type in a gang stalking tech. Everything you need to know. A manifesto of a manager of gang stalking crews. You'll find it. Trust me, you will find it. Once you do, print it out. Keep it. Cross-reference it to the other information that I have stated to you. Also, go to Amazon and type in The Soul Catcher and The Body Electric. 2 separate books. Okay? Then go to YouTube. Type in John Hall Satellite Terrorism. Now, it's going to take you at least 4 to 6 months for you to totally pick apart everything that I stated, because you're going to be doing a lot of cross-referencing. But I guarantee you right now, anybody that watches this, if you do what I tell you to do, you will never, ever look at this world in the same way again. And I do what I do in order to inform you so you can become aware, because what's coming down the road, sweet peas, is no joke. Also, in closing, go to 2 things. Go to YouTube. Now, go to Google. Well, you can YouTube this as well. Go to Google or YouTube. In fact, go to both. And type in Live Leak Greg Skamansky and Julian McKinney. Live Leak Broadcast Greg Skamansky and Julian McKinney. Listen to it, record it, and then re-listen to it on periodic dates. Then go to YouTube and type in The Jesse Ventura Brain Invader Show. Do it. Okay? And in closing, before I play you this audio file, I also want you to go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. Bioethics Issues. He talks about neurocognitive weapons and brain entrainment. Okay? Now, you're not only going to look at that video, but when you bring that video up, you're going to notice a bunch of YouTube videos on the sidebar. Okay? Over to the right. Look at all of those YouTube videos. Those are targeted individuals of gang stalking testifying before President Obama's Presidential Bioethics Commission concerning how they're being tortured, neurally controlled, because of these types of weapons. So, again, it is your choice. You can, I don't know what kind of a person is watching this right now. If you're smart, let me just put it to you this way. Be smart. Do what I tell you to do. I do what I do for your sake, for your family's sake, for your friend's sake, and for your sake. This is not a, just, alright, I tell you what I'm going to do. Just listen. I want you to listen to this. It's going to blow your mind. Okay? And what this guy's telling you is the truth.
Smoke and mirrors. It's all falsehood. Even even say, if you go into the mind control and harassment and MK Ultra portions of the New World Order, where they can do gang stalking, and they turn, a bunch of, people in towns. I mean, I have people from all cities, all over the place, from Vancouver, people from Berkeley, people from Toronto. They all call me up and they say they're gang stalking, and that's because back in the late '80s, I actually won a $750 million default judgment against the government of Ontario for a client of mine who was subjected to mind control. So I've learned a lot about this, and all this stuff is just computer programs, and they use computer programs, and they actually manage people's brains through the police radio towers, through the cell towers, and they have all these people doing gang stalking, and they don't even know why they're doing it. And there's a case where there was a real case where they had on a university campus, they had all these gang stalkers going around gang stalking the students, and all of a sudden the power went out in the local police station, and the power went out in the police antenna where they were sending out these software signals running the brains of all these gang stalkers, and they just looked around and they were like a bunch of cockroaches, and then they just ran away. And so the New World Order is just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's a bunch of tricks invented by Nazi scientists, to try and bamboozle people. And that's about all it is. That's all it is.
Okay. Look, now, if you look at the Jesse Ventura Brain Invader show, what do you notice on that show when you watch it? You can watch it at YouTube. What do you think you notice on that show when you watch it? You're noticing Jesse Ventura with a few targeted individuals, one of them being a retired police officer, going out to some cell phone towers. Okay? Now this is where it's going to get a little bit interesting for you, to the point to where you might say, okay, there is something here for you to listen to. You better listen to me, because if you knew who I was, you would listen to me wholeheartedly, without any doubt in your mind. Listen to this. In the Jesse Ventura Brain Invader show, they're showing quite a few targeted individuals on that show, talking about how they're being hit with directed energy weapons. They're also hearing voices, which is V2K and alpha wave transmissions. Now, at the very end of the show, okay, in fact, Lisa Becker is on the Jesse Ventura shows. You'll see Lisa Becker testifying in one of the YouTube videos before the Bioethics Commission. Remember how I told you about Timothy W. Bioethics YouTube video? So you'll eventually run across her as well. Okay? Getting back to Jesse Ventura. Towards the end of the show, they bring on a guy by the name of either Robert Becker or Robert Duncan. I forgot who it is. I think it's Robert Becker. Okay? It could be Robert Duncan. Anyways, that individual is listed within the 3 PDF links that are on the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. He was one of the individuals who helped develop these weapons. Okay? Now, the only way you're going to be able to see how this stuff works is to take every single description that I have stated and research it. And then cross-reference, and then synthesize, and you will see that I'm telling you the truth. Undeniably. Literally undeniably. Now, let's take a look at this. It was either, I don't know if it was Robert Becker or Robert Duncan in the Jesse Ventura show. I keep forgetting his last name. But he states that the individuals that are on the Jesse Ventura show, in reference to the targeted individuals, they're not being abused. They're literally being tortured. Now, in the Jesse Ventura show, it flat out states, it literally shows Jesse Ventura taking some of the targeted individuals to the cell phone towers. That's right. It also shows a company in San Diego that sells protective measures for targeted individuals. I just haven't went down there yet. I've Googled and map clustered their address, but I just haven't went down there yet. So, let me tell you another thing. before this particular YouTube video was discovered online concerning this lawyer, and I already know he's telling the truth because of who I am and what I know, okay? Understand, please, okay? What I'm trying to tell you is that in 2011, I forget what month it was between August and December of 2011, they had a blackout, a brownout here in San Diego. It started, I think, in Arizona, but I'm not sure. And for a few hours in one day, they had a complete blackout in San Diego County as a result of this rolling over into our city from a blackout that occurred that started in another state. And there were certain cell phone towers that were knocked out and certain electrical grids that were knocked out. A targeted individual made a statement in a tape recorder that they were not hearing the V2K, which is the voice to skull, as that blackout, brownout was occurring. And as soon as it got turned back on, the voices started again. That's right. Now listen to what this lawyer says about how the people that are involved in the gang stalking, when the police antenna went out, they didn't know what to do. Just listen.
Smoke and mirrors. It's all falsehood. Even even say, if you go into the mind control and harassment and MK Ultra portions of the New World Order, where they can do gang stalking, and they turn, a bunch of, people in towns. I mean, I have people from all cities, all over the place, from Vancouver, people from Berkeley, people from Toronto. They all call me up and they say they're gang stalking, and that's because back in the late '80s, I actually won a $750 million default judgment against the government of Ontario for a client of mine who was subjected to mind control. So I've learned a lot about this, and all this stuff is just computer programs, and they use computer programs, and they actually manage people's brains through the police radio towers, through the cell towers, and they have all these people doing gang stalking, and they don't even know why they're doing it. And there's a case where there was a real case where they had on a university campus, they had all these gang stalkers going around gang stalking the students, and all of a sudden the power went out in the local police station, and the power went out in the police antenna where they were sending out these software signals running the brains of all these gang stalkers, and they just looked around and they were like a bunch of cockroaches, and then they just ran away. And so the New World Order is just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's a bunch of tricks invented by Nazi scientists.
He's right there too. This technology did come from brain research and mind control research that was started by the Nazis. I already know that for a fact. I know it for an undisputable fact, and he's right. He's right. Now, as far as these software programs he's talking about, basically what they're doing, well, let me just put it to you this way, because I got to get going. Research what I stated, okay? And what you'll come to understand is that this technology has been developed as a result of, look at the first and second PDF link at the bottom of Freedom from Covert Harassment and Surveillance. Do that first, okay? And thoroughly dissect it. Neural encoding, neural decoding, directing neural influence, directing psychological direction. Okay? That's right, baby cakes. Then go to YouTube and type in Timothy W. Bioethics Issues. Okay, now as far as targeted individuals hearing voices, including in their own head and in their environment, those are called ELF wave transmissions and V2K and remote neural monitoring. Go to YouTube and type in John Hall Satellite Terrorism. As far as these individuals being brain entrained, okay, and see, when you tell somebody to get up and do something, no matter what motivates them to do it, like the lie they're being told, or a free lunch, or whatever, okay, these people are told what to do against a certain person. As a result of them getting up and doing what they're told, they're being brain entrained. Those neural pathways that have been brain entrained are being identified with remote neural monitoring, and then the signals that are interfacing with their brains are stimulating those neural pathways to be brought back into the current consciousness in real time in order to get those people to think the same thoughts and do the same thing on any given day. It's brain entrainment. That's why Timothy W. talks about brain entrainment and neurocognitive weapons. Whatever is entrained can be stimulated. Just like when you're training a dog. Once you train a dog to sit for a treat, and he learns how, every time he sees that treat, he'll automatically sit. Except this is electronics that is stimulating identified neural pathways based on the resonance frequency of those neural pathways with remote neural monitoring. Then the same technology stimulated to bring it back active in the current consciousness in real time to be rethought out and reacted upon. And when it's stimulated below the perceptual radar. So the individuals had no idea that they're even being stimulated by a frequency that is stepped down and modulated to interface with the neural resonance frequency of that particular neural network that holds the thinking and the resulting motor cortex associated behaviors, the getting up and going and doing. It's neural enslavement. It's mind control. I do what I do to inform you. Sweet peas, you had no idea what this technology is capable of, including neural enslavement for sexual enslavement, where the targeted individual has no choice over what they are allowed to do with their own body. You have no idea what I know. I do what I do to inform, to expose the truth, and you would not believe what I know. Thank you for listening, and have a nice day. Oh, and by the way, I'm being gang-stalked on university campuses. Listen to what this guy says. And this is a guy from, I have no idea I think this guy's from Canada. Canada's got so much gang-stalking going on in Canada right now, it's pathetic. Just listen. He talks about university campuses. He talks about students at universities being involved in gang-stalking, and students at universities being gang-stalked by fellow students. I've been all over the internet for the last year and a half exposing being gang-stalked at 3 separate universities in San Diego. USD, SDSU, and UCSD. Just listen.
Mirrors. It's all falsehood. Even even say if you go into the mind control and harassment and MK Ultra portions of the New World Order, where they can do gang stalking and they turn, a bunch of people in towns. I mean, I have people from all cities all over the place, from Vancouver, people from Berkeley, people from Toronto. They all call me up and they say they're gang stalking, and that's because back in the late 80s, I actually won a $750 million default judgment against the governor of Ontario for a client of mine who was subjected to mind control. So I've learned a lot about this, and all this stuff is just computer programs, and they use computer programs, and they actually manage people's brains through the police radio towers, through the cell towers, and they have all these people doing gang stalking, and they don't even know why they're doing it. And there's a case.
Because the neural encoding of each particular individual's brain has been put in the software. Do your research.
Where there was a real case where they had on a university campus, they had all these gang stalkers going around gang stalking the students, and all of a sudden the power went out in the local police station, and the power went out in the police antenna where they were sending out the software signals running the brains of all these gang stalkers, and they just looked around and they were like a bunch of cockroaches, and then they just ran away. And so the New World Order is just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. It's a bunch of tricks invented by Nazi scientists, to try and bamboozle people. And that's about all it is. That's all it is.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I've given you the information. And I wanted you to know that what I gave you today, I gave you because I care. I don't ever want to be able to... I just hate to see anybody be neurally enslaved. We're all human beings. We all deserve to be loved, respected, honored, okay? And made, not victims of crime. Have a good day.